wow, what do you know? It's time for the Pocket Knife Show. Hey, it's Mike on the mic again for another episode of the Pocket Knife Podcast. My wife has this oversized blanket sweatshirt thing. I don't know what else to call it. It's a blanket with sleeves and a hood. But its texture is like one of those super warm, super soft, fuzzy throws that women keep around the living room because they're cold 24/7 and setting the thermostat at 72 doesn't make it warm enough for them. Guys, you know what I'm talking about, right? Old guys, you've used them when it's gotten to minus 20 indoors during an ice storm which knocked out power for days. Anyway, my wife has this thing and it's leopard print. There are spots all over it. The other day, my wife briefly shed her big cat pelt, and as I looked at it all wadded up on the leather ottoman, I spotted a word. Pun intended. The word I spotted was the word joy. What did I do after I shouted out my joy and discovery? I took a picture of it so I could share it with the world. If you are listening to this because you're a Facebook friend and you clicked on a link, you've seen the original picture and the one I doctored a bit to make the Y look more Y-like. It was kind of fuzzy, like the blanket. I think both pictures reveal joy, but you be the judge. If you can examine them. If you don't have access to my newsfeed, sorry, you'll just have to trust me. I saw it. I hate to do this because I know there's more nuance in the world than this, but there are a few people in the world who fall on the extremes of the joy spectrum. I won't say there's two kinds of people in the world, but, there are those who see joy in everything, and there are those who can't find joy in anything. Positive people, negative people, glass half full, glass half empty, optimists and pessimists, you choose how you're going to describe them. Most of us are not extremely happy or extremely sour, but we know some people who are. I have a bouncing ball friend or two and a wrecking ball or ball and chain or whatever you want to call it. I've got some of them too. I tried to think of a not too bad term, but it's hard to be around a negative Nancy. Nancy is not my grumpier friend's name. The Nancy I know swims more in the joy end of the pool than the gloomy end. Hi, Nancy. Why am I talking about joy spotters and joy missers? You were hoping I'd get to the point eventually, weren't you? Well, it's just this. I've puzzled for several years over this question. How can I best love like Jesus loves when the sourpusses in my life get really sour? It's hard to be around them when they're in make you pucker like you've bit into a lemon mode. But I can't love them at all if I'm never near them. I can't add any sweetness into their life if I never speak to them. We'll never get to lemonade at all. Here's the strategy I've come up with in an attempt to answer the how to love when it's hard question. First step, I pray and pray and pray. Every time I suspect I might encounter them, I pray that my attitude will be right. Jesus said, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. I'm not 100% sure that verse applies here, but I'm claiming it and trying to live it out. God, help me to know how to answer each negative assertion, each critical word, each bit of dark cloud sent to cover over the sun. Another thing I do is remind myself of who the real enemy is. I know for a fact as I think about this person that they are not my enemy. I know I quoted Jesus' words about praying for enemies in my talk about the first step, but Paul says our struggle isn't against flesh and blood. Not ever. Our enemy, and by our I mean mine and my friends, is the enemy. Our struggle is, to quote Paul in Ephesians 6:12, against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Because I know this, I am more patient with my friend in moments when it's clear the spiritual forces of darkness are blinding my Oscar the Grouch to the love I'm trying to express, to the love of God who's also loving to all who are grumpy. Having prayed and asked God for protection, I try my best to keep things positive and to offer to pray and to speak in a friendly way when I'm in this person's presence. I know returning insult for insult will only escalate things, and so I don't do it. I just listen and I try to subtly turn the conversation toward joy-filled things. Having asked God for wisdom, I take the plunge and engage in conversation. Sometimes we interact for less than a minute because I'm sent on my way. Other times things are less cold and we talk for 2, 3, 4 minutes. I trust God is working and I keep going back. Recently, I listened to a podcast about Jesus' words where he says, don't give to dogs what's sacred or cast pearls to swine, in the Sermon on the Mount. The hosts of the show suggested that at times we don't speak truths we're learning from God to people who won't respond positively. It hit harder the day I heard it because I'd had a less than stellar encounter with my often grumpy friend. Am I free not to pursue peace? I don't feel released, but I have asked God to guide me in the moment, and I'm getting better at walking away without a wounded heart when barbs are intentionally placed in my heart. I want to share the good news with this person, the gospel. I can't do that if they won't speak with me, nor can I do it if I never risk saying hi. I don't know if this has been helpful to you. I just wanted to sort things out for myself and get my struggle and my strategy out there. Hopefully, someone who's listening will be encouraged to bear with the faults of a sister or brother who's bothersome in order to love like Jesus loves. Not sure how to end this one. God bless the sourpusses.
Oh no, it's sad, I know we've come to the end of the show.
See you next time.